you're about to give me truth, I'll help you out.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so you just seated, and then you just state your name for the record and spell your person's last name.
Record, my name is William Creer. First name's common spelling. Last name is spelled Creer.
Go ahead, Pastor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Creer, I just want to acknowledge that you just came from a very long shift, so you're a little tired. So we're not going to keep you on the stand very long. Can you tell the jury what your job is?
No problem. I'm a forensic technician for the Detroit Police Department. We commonly call it a crime scene investigator. My job is to go to the crime scenes, take pictures, collect evidence, and generate a report and testify in court like I'm testifying now.
Okay, so as your job as a crime scene, would you say investigator?
That's fine.
Okay, it's important to distinguish, are you a member actually of law enforcement?
I work for law enforcement, yes.
All right, are you considered a police officer?
No, I'm not.
All right, is that then, would you consider yourself a civilian?
Yes.
All right. How long have you worked as a crime scene investigator?
20 years.
And all of those years have you worked for the Detroit Police Department?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to draw your attention to December 4th of 2021. Were you working that day?
Yes, I was.
And are you on shifts or are you on call? How does that work?
We're on shifts. My shift I currently work on is from 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. to 8 a.m.
And are you at home during this time, or call when necessary, or are you actually in an office?
I'm in the office.
Okay. On December 4th, were you dispatched that day, if you know, to an address of 1111 Bellevue in Detroit?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Do you know about what time you received that dispatch?
I believe around 2 o'clock.
In the morning?
Yes.
Okay. Were you aware if there was a search warrant that was being executed?
The request we got over radio was there was a search warrant executed at that location.
All right. And what were your initial thoughts when you were dispatched to the location about what your purpose there was?
All we knew at the time was a search warrant at the location. We really didn't know anything else about it previously until we pulled up.
All right. And when you pulled up, what was your observation?
Objection, Honor, relevance.
When he pulled up to the scene, overall.
Thank you.
A lot of news cameras around, so we were like, okay, this is interesting.
In addition to the news cameras, though, what was the scene like in terms of, was law enforcement already on scene? Did you know what had happened in that scene?
At that time, we didn't still exactly have any of the real details. All we knew at the time was it was a search warrant. We were there to collect evidence regarding the search warrant. When we pulled up, there was, of course, like I mentioned before, news cameras all around and heavy police presence.
All right, and then what happened?
Then when we reached the scene, we talked to the officer in charge, and then that's when we were notified what this case was actually involved with.
And what were you told?
That the case was involving Crumbley.
Can you just raise your voice just a little bit, please?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was trying to.
I knew you could speak louder.
No problem. Case was involving the shooting incident, and this was the location that search warrant was being authorized, and 2 people were arrested.
Is that all you were told?
Yes.
Okay. And were you directed to a certain part of the building?
Suite 130 of the location you mentioned.
Were you by yourself or with someone else?
I had a partner.
And who's that?
The partner, Stephanie Sparks.
Do you normally process the scene by yourself or with another partner?
Midnight, you process scenes with partners.
Okay. And once you arrived at the suite, were you and your partner the only one there? Were you the only ones there, or who else was there?
The scene was secured by the police, by the Detroit Police.
What does that mean, secure?
It means that it's secured so that way there's no outside interference coming inside the building, no one tampering with evidence, and everything is there as it was when the search warrant was executed.
And is that a typical thing and that you encounter in your job? That do you arrive to scenes once it's cleared and secured, or are you sometimes there at the same time? A lot's going on.
Oh no, we're there after the scene is secured.
Okay. So what is your job when you arrive on the scene that day?
When I arrive at the scene, we talk to the officer in charge of the scene. We then walk through the scene. He points out items of interest. that he
Remember,
might
keep your
collect.
voice up.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
He points out items of interest that he might want collected. My partner and I would then walk through the scene. We'll also pay attention to see what's around. We then would suggest additional items, if any, to collect, and allow us to look around a little bit more. And then after that, we take pictures, collect evidence, and package the evidence, turn it in.
All right, Mr. Creer, is there a difference between collecting evidence and searching?
Yes,
And are you assigned to do both?
it depends on the situation. Yeah, in this situation, we collected the evidence. The search warrant was already executed, and we looked around additionally.
All right, and what makes you start searching other places?
The fact that we looked around and he said, yeah, the OIC, I can't remember the name at the time, gave us permission to look around a little bit more.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked as People's Exhibits 306, 307, 309 through 320, 322 to 358. I believe these have all been admitted. Mr. Creer, what is that?
That's the scene location.
All right. And,
Again, it's the north side of the scene location.
okay.
Again, we're at the north side of the scene location.
All right. Can you see the windows on the suite that you searched?
I believe the windows on the scene that we searched, because the actual suite 130 is located on the northeast side of the building. So I would say the two windows closest to the left side of the screen.
Okay. And then, do you know what this is?
Yes, that was the vehicle we were directed to at the crime scene.
Oh,
Yes,
you also searched the vehicle.
No, we didn't search the vehicle.
Okay.
We took pictures of the vehicle.
Okay, got it. What did you learn about the car? Anything? Did you take pictures of anything around the car, in the car?
We took pictures around the car, and then also around the car there were cigarette butts we collected.
You collected the cigarette butts?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is this a picture of?
Those are pictures of the cigarette butts.
All right, do you remember how many were there?
Not off the top of my head. No.
Okay. Did you bring a report with you today?
I did bring a report.
Would that refresh your recollection?
It would.
All right, you have a look at it and just let me know when you are ready to answer that question.
Collected a total of 14 cigarette butts.
Okay. Anything else around the car? Is that a picture? What are we looking at?
The picture that's behind the vehicle and more cigarette butts.
And you collected those?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and 312 and then 313. What is that?
That's suite 130.
Okay. Is that where you searched?
Yes.
All right. And is that typical? You just take pictures of, what do you take pictures of as a matter of protocol?
No problem. We take pictures of the area. In this particular situation, that's the actual room number. So of course we took pictures of the front door and room number. As we enter through, we take pictures of to see if there's any damage to the door, if any, if the door was breached, if it wasn't breached, if there was any damage at all.
Was there any damage to this door?
No, none observed.
Okay, and the next slide is 314. Do you recognize that?
Yes, that's the actual scene inside of the scene location 130.
Okay. And then 315. Is that also from a different angle?
Yes, as we enter the room, that would be to the north.
And those windows that we see, do you know where they face?
They are also facing north.
Would those be the windows you just pointed out in the previous slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is another angle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what is this?
This is directly in front of the door, so that would be to the east side of the building.
Did you observe a mattress in this building, in this room?
There was a mattress in the room.
Do you see it in this picture?
You kind of see it towards the bottom of the screen. Yeah, right there.
Okay. And the next slide?
To the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you see the mattress with the drawers on top of it.
Oh, that's the mattress?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, and then I'm just gonna show you some slides, pictures of the scene, and you can just describe what angle it is and what if you see anything of significance to point out to the jury.
Yeah.
Okay,
Again, you see the mattress, you see the drawers. You also see going just to the right of the mattress,
remember
towards
to
the
keep
edge
your
of the
voice
screen.
up a little bit.
Sorry, to the right of the mattress, towards the edge of the screen, you see a table with 2 solo cups.
Right there,
Yes.
okay. What is this?
Again, we're right at the mattress. At the, I guess that would be the left side of the mattress. You have some clothes and a baseball cap.
Okay, and the next slide. What's significant about this, if anything?
You got the mattress in the bottom right hand of the picture. Towards the left hand of the picture, right in front of the little shelving units on the floor, you have a Snipes clothing bag.
All right. And at some point, did you remove the items in the bag?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this the picture of those items?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell the jury what we found?
If you see in the picture, a few pairs of socks, receipt, sweatshirt.
And are the socks, do they appear to be worn or new?
Those are brand new.
All right. Do I see a receipt in that picture?
Yes, you do.
Okay. We're going to get to that in just a second. Next slide. What are we looking at?
You're looking just, that's the mattress to our right, and to the left there's some shelving units, but right in the middle there's a sweater.
Okay. Just for context, when you say right or left, when you're looking at this picture, where's the door?
Got you. The door would be to the west of the mattress.
So to the top right of the.
It'll be just to the on the right side of the screen, towards the right border of the screen.
Okay. And is that the article of clothing we just saw in the previous
Yes, ma'am.
slide? Okay. What is it?
It's a sweater, as I mentioned before.
All right. Do you know if it's male or female?
Looks like a female sweater.
Okay. In the next slide, where did this come from?
Right now, if I remember correctly, this is going to be towards the east side of the room, and that's just a regular shirt. And you see further on a few pairs of other articles of clothing.
Okay. The next slide is, where is this in relation to the room?
In relation to the room, as you see through the previous slides, there was a table. The table would be along the south
Is the
side.
table right next to the mattress with the solo cups?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
This area is behind the table, and that's a pink book bag. This was in a plastic tote container.
Was the tote, did it have a lid on it, or was it without a lid?
It was without a lid when we arrived.
With or without?
Without.
Okay. Do you know, did anybody take the lid off, or was it found like that when the individuals were arrested?
Objection, Your Honor, speculation. I don't know how he would know that.
I started out with, do you know?
No, I don't recall.
Okay, thank you. And was there anything else in this container other than the backpack?
I'd have to go further through the pictures.
Okay. What is this?
That's the table that is right in front of the tote with the book bag.
Okay, and can you tell the jury what was on this table?
You have foodstuffs like bananas, orange juice, Ferner's bottle, a Coca-Cola bottle, solo cups.
All right. And the next slide.
Next side, we're right back at the tote with the book bag.
All right. And what's this?
This is the part where we're getting ready to go through the tote, through the book bag that we just pulled out of the tote.
And what do you see?
I'm
sorry. What did you find in the backpack?
Okay, to the left of the book bag, towards the top of the screen, you have a smaller little bag, and you also, as we're going to go progress through the pictures, you're going to see various articles of clothing.
Okay. Next slide.
Again, we're progressing through the pictures. You have various articles of clothing, and we still have that little smaller bag right there on top of the book bag.
Was there anything in that bag?
I have to look at my report to refresh my memory.
Okay, go ahead.
don't believe that's the great first. Do we have the rest of the pictures?
Sure, sure. What's to the left on there?
To the left, you have a pair of black jeans.
Do you know if they're male or female?
I believe they're female.
All right. And the next slide is 332. What is that a picture of?
Another picture. It's another picture of black jeans.
Okay. And the slide after that?
You see the brand of the jeans. You see their high-rise skinny stretch jeans, and you can see the size on the tag if you zoom in.
All right.
That's size 12.
Okay. And the next slide?
Uh,
Where were these articles found?
Those articles were inside the pink book bag.
Okay. And can you tell the jury what is in that picture?
And inside the picture, you have you see a syringe. I'd have to go through my notes to recall what was actually inside the syringe. You also have some pills just at the bottom of the screen, and then on the inside the bag, you also see a bank envelope.
A what?
A bank envelope.
A bank envelope. Okay. Do you know what the pills were for, or what they were?
Not off the top of my head. No.
Is it in your report?
Let me look at my report.
Okay. Yes. And while you're doing that, would it refresh your recollection about the syringe?
Yes, because
Okay.
I recall that's definitely in my report.
Okay.
Okay, the syringe was the Exceed. It's the prescription for medication for a horse.
Okay.
That's the syringe that you see in the picture inside the bag. And I don't have a description of the pills.
Okay. In the next slide, do you see a better description of the back of the pills there?
Yes.
Does that refresh your recollection?
Yes, I believe they're like caffeine pills or something like that.
Vivarin?
Yes.
All right. In the next slide, that's what you just talked about.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. What is this?
Those are the articles of clothing I described earlier.
And can you list those?
They are female intimate garments, underwear and bras.
And do you know how many pair of underwear?
Now, off the top of my head.
Okay. In the next slide, what is that?
That is the hotel room key. It was inside a black jacket, and that was along the northeast corner of the room.
Okay. And the next slide is 339. What is this?
It's a picture of a whiskey container. It's in a garbage can.
All right. And the next slide is a receipt. What is this receipt for?
It's from the Rivertown Market. We found the receipt on the table. As you see on the, as we go through the pictures, you have the various items that are on the receipt. I believe the next picture also has the date on the receipt as well.
What is this?
That is going to be a plastic tote with an avocado inside the tote.
Okay. And I remember the last time you testified, you weren't sure what that was.
Exactly.
You've since learned it was an avocado.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What else is in that picture with the avocado?
It's a aluminum container, similar to what you would use for like baking.
Lasagna? Okay. And what's inside of it?
Melting ice in an ice bag.
So was it completely melted or was it still cold?
At the time, it was completely melted. Yeah, at the time, it was completely melted.
Was it still cold?
No.
Okay. The next slide. What is this?
It's a receipt.
Is it the receipt that we just talked about at Rivertown?
I would have to look at the picture before because as you see at the top of the receipt, it has 14, and on a previous picture. Yes, that's the bottom of the receipt.
Okay. And what's the date on that?
The date on the receipt is 12/3/2021.
And at the time you are searching this, is it December 3rd or December 4th?
It will be December 4th,
Okay, and the actual time of the purchase?
4:09 p.m.
Okay. The next slide is, what is it?
Yeah, this picture of the mattress we talked about earlier.
Okay. The next slide is 344. Tell the jury what this is and why you took a picture of it.
This is a picture of the totes that will be around the east side of the room. The reason why we took pictures of the totes is because we saw the one tote that was already open before. These totes look kind of funny, or kind of just look like they kind of was messed with or jostled with at the time. So we decided to take pictures and open them up.
Okay, and just so that the jury understands, I want to go back to slide 14. Do you have that number? It's to show there. Maybe this one. Certainly. Okay, so do I have this right? There were 2 separate plastic totes that you discovered items in?
Yes.
Okay, and were they found in the same place?
No.
All right, you testified earlier that the tote with the pink backpack, where did you find that?
The tote with the pink backpack, as you go through the picture, you see the table just to the left side of the screen in that corner. That's where the one tote with pink book bag is located.
So how far away from the mattress?
It's the mattress, table, and the tote.
Okay, so a foot, 2 feet?
About a foot, yeah.
Okay.
About a foot, yes.
Okay, and then you said you searched and discovered more items in a different tote.
Yes.
And where was that?
Towards the top of the screen, you have the yellow scaffolding, whatever, holding the totes. Then behind that area, behind the table right there would be the next area of totes.
Okay, so is it on that scaffolding you found it?
Right behind it.
Right
Right
behind
behind the table.
Right behind there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so was that visible when you walked into the room?
No, as you walk into the room, you look around, you know, during the search of the area.
Okay, so that tote that was found on the other side of the room, what was discovered, if anything, in that tote?
In that tote, that's where we found the purse with the money as we go through.
Okay, one moment. Okay, was the tote found in that condition? And I guess what I'm asking is, was there a lid on it?
You see the lid on it. As we take pictures, you see it as we progress.
Okay, next slide. What is that?
Again, you see the tote being moved over a little bit, and you see the purse.
Okay. What is this?
Yes, now we're looking inside the purse.
All right. And then the pictures, is this how you do it? You take a picture of the first item and then all of the things that you take out of it?
Yes, ma'am, we take it in progression.
Okay. Sorry, you told me that. All right, next slide. What is this?
You see the bank envelopes, you see a search warrant under the bank envelopes, and you see the 2 bank envelopes as well on top of it.
A search warrant, what is that?
As you see at the top of the screen is the warrant tabulation return.
Okay. And that was found in the bag or in the tote?
The bank envelopes were found in the purse. The search warrants were just on the table.
Okay. And then the next slide, what is that?
You're again looking inside the purse, and you see cash right in a smaller pocket of the purse.
Was there anything in the bank envelopes?
Yes, there's money in the bank envelopes as well.
All right. And you see cash in this picture. Is this separate in addition to what you found in the bank envelopes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And if you remember, and if not, you can look at your notes. How much total? What was the total amount of cash found in that handbag?
I'd have to look at the notes. I know it was around $6,000.
Do you want to just correct?
Yes,
Make sure you're correct.
$6,617.
Okay. And those are, we'll get to it. I'm not going to do that again. Okay, next slide. That's just a close-up.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The slide after this. This is exhibit 350, and there's kind of a lot going on in this picture. Can you explain to the jury what you see?
No problem. In the picture, you see 4 cell phones. One of the cell phones appears to be busted and broken. Those are the condition of the cell phones. Those are the condition of collecting cell phone. You also see the keys just to the left of the cell phones. They were collected, they were turned over to the unit at the scene so that they can collect and move the car. You also see a bank card and some prescription medication just to the top of the bank, just to the top and left of the bank card.
Okay, the next slide.
That's a closer picture of the keys.
And the bank card, was that a traditional bank card, if you know?
No, I don't know.
Okay. The next slide.
You have a closer picture of the medication I mentioned before.
And do you know what these medications were?
No. I see Adderall in 2 of the containers.
Okay, do you know who they're prescribed to?
You see Jennifer Crumbley on all 3. Well, you can see it better on the bottle to the right. And the other 2 bottles, you can kind of see Jennifer and then Crumbley.
All right, and the next picture?
Again, it's pictures of the 4 cell phones.
Were any of these cell phones powered on?
No,
How do you know that?
because if they were, we take pictures of the items in the condition that we collected.
They were all off.
Exactly.
And then the next picture? What is this?
It's pictures of the money we collected from the purse.
So you actually lay out each bill?
Yes.
Okay. And the next photo?
More pictures of the money.
And 2 after that?
Yep.
All right, and then the last photo here is there was a receipt. Can you tell the jury what the time and date is on this receipt?
12/3/2021.
And what are the items listed?
Giant lasagna pan, Verner's 2-liter bottle, paper towel, Kleenex.
Okay, thank you. At what time do you estimate that the search was completed?
I have to look at my notes, definitely get that time.
Okay. For the sake of time, does it around 5 a.m. sound
Yeah,
right
around
to you?
5 a.m.
Okay, and then when you were done, what did you do?
We were directed to take pictures of the prisoners.
And is that a normal thing in your job?
If we were directed to, yes.
Okay, so where were these individuals located?
Oakland County Jail.
So did you drive straight to the jail?
When we were directed to, yes.
Okay. As soon as you finished the search?
Yes.
And the preparation? Okay. And when you arrived at the Oakland County Jail, what did you do?
We took pictures of both the Crumbleys individually. First, we took pictures of Miss Crumbley first, and then Mr. Crumbley.
Okay. And what's the purpose of that?
The purpose of it was the fact that show any injuries if there are any, and the condition when they were arrested.
Okay, thank you very much. Nothing further.
Sorry, I didn't hear the end of your response.
If there are any injuries or their condition when they were arrested.
Thank you. Boss? Yes, Your Honor. Briefly. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
As a forensic technician, your role is to document what you see at a scene, correct?
Yes, ma'am?
Your role is not to investigate what may have occurred prior to your arrival.
No, ma'am.
You testified that when you arrived at 1111 Bellevue that there were a lot of news cameras.
Yes.
There were a lot of law enforcement, if you recall.
Yes.
It was kind of a chaotic scene.
I wouldn't say chaotic, but it was officers and cameras at the scene.
You were told that you were notified. You were not notified what the case was involving before arriving at 1111 Bellevue. Is that correct?
Exactly.
You were only told that it was a shooting incident.
We were told that we were collecting for a search warrant.
For a shooting incident.
We were told we were collecting for a search warrant.
Okay, so you weren't told anything.
Again, as my report says on the first page, as you look at the first line, the information received request to process the scene of a search warrant and arrest at the address 1111 Bellevue from District 1 Dispatch.
And I thought that in your direct testimony with the prosecutor that you said that you were notified that the case was involving a shooting incident and that 2 people were arrested.
Your Honor, I just wanted to clear up, I'm not sure at the time of when he was notified, at the scene versus before he left. So I just want a clarification.
Do you recall testifying in that way?
I don't know. What I said, and we're talking about this specific time, was when we were informed from District 1 it was search warrant. When we arrived, that's when we understood it was connected to the shooting incident.
So after you arrived at 1111 Bellevue?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for clarifying that for me. You said that when you initially get to a scene, you walk through and the officer in charge points out items of interest that he or she wants collected.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you may also walk through with your partner and identify additional things.
Yes, ma'am.
And we saw some of those things today, like the tote that you ended up taking photos of where the purse was. Is that
Yes,
correct? You testified that you collected 14 cigarette butts. And you can look at your report if you'd like.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll stipulate he said 14.
Yeah, 14.
He hasn't slept anything.
And it's your understanding that, from your recollection, those cigarette butts were collected next to a Kia that we had a photograph of.
Yes, ma'am.
You testified that inside of the plastic bag, in exhibit, well, I believe it was exhibit 334, that there was a bank envelope. Looking at the bag now, do you see what that was?
The picture's kind of blurry, but it still looks like a bank envelope.
Okay, it doesn't look like a business card?
To me, it looks like a bank envelope with the black spots on top of it.
Exhibit 339, the prosecutor asked you to look at the inside of a garbage can, if you recall, and there was a whiskey bottle inside the garbage can.
Yes.
You don't know how that whiskey bottle got there?
No.
You have no knowledge of how long it had been there?
No.
You have no information about it whatsoever?
No, all I know is the whiskey bottle garbage can.
And you were just taking a photograph of what was on the scene when you got there?
Yes, ma'am.
In Exhibit 347, you talked about bank envelopes and a search warrant tabulation return, which was on a table.
Yes.
It wasn't hidden anywhere, correct?
The search warrant or
the tabulation was not hidden anywhere. It was just sitting on a table when you took the photograph?
Yes.
And you completed the search that you arrived on scene around 2 a.m. and you were done around 5 a.m.?
Yes.
One moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
And the photographs that you took photographs of cash. You don't know what that cash was for. That's fair. Because again, you were just taking photographs of what was on the scene when you got there.
It was cash in the purse that I collected.
Right.
So.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Just one point for clarification. You said you took pictures for, in case there were document any injuries. Did you?
Objection, Your Honor. I didn't ask anything about those photographs.
She did.
I believe that she did, and if not, I'm offering some clarification.
Your Honor, I would object to any questions about the photographs that were taken of my client after he was arrested. I didn't ask anything about that on my cross.
Yeah, I did see the scope of cross, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Is this witness excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
So next, please.
Tim Willis.